I am so happy that you're able to join us for this extended interview. Make sure to visit theoffbeatlife.com. Again, that's theoffbeatlife.com to get more killer resources. Hey friend, are you looking to land a remote gig ASAP? Well, did you know that we not only have a ton of online jobs you can apply to on our site, but now we are also sending them straight to your inbox. I'm happy to announce that we will be sending our email subscribers legit online jobs every Wednesday. We have done hours of research so you don't have to. If you want to be the first one to hear about the remote gigs we find, go to theoffbeatlife.com to subscribe. Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. I am so excited for this extended interview with Elina. She has such an interesting story, so make sure to check out her first interview with us. But she's with us today to talk about how to travel the world using miles and points. This is something that we all want to do because we want to travel for free. So Elina, we want to hear from you. But before we get to all of your tips and tricks, can you tell us about you and why you live an offbeat life?
Yes. First, thank you for having me. I live this life because I think it gives me the most amount of freedom. So just a little bit of backstory of how I got here. I was born in Russia. I moved to the US with my mom when I was little. I grew up in the city and I did a very traditional career. I went to university for accounting. I worked in finance, and I basically was climbing the corporate ladder, and I just really wasn't enjoying following this traditional path. I felt like I lived this life that looked perfect on the outside, but I didn't love my job. So I wanted to change things, but I didn't know how. So I decided to go back to school because I feel like that's what a lot of people in the US do when they don't know what they want to do next. They just go back to school. So I moved to London and I went to grad school in London. And when I was there, I became acquainted with the digital nomad community because I went to a conference. And I realized that there's this huge lifestyle that exists of people who work remotely, travel the world, make money online, whether it's passive income, their own business, or a remote job. And it just completely opened my eyes. So after graduating, I was traveling, and then I basically started making money out of my hobby, which is travel hacking, which is traveling the world on miles and points. So not paying for flights or hotels, just using miles and points to do it. And I basically created a career out of my hobby. It's what allows me to live this remote lifestyle. And I love being a digital nomad because I have a huge community of people who understand me. A lot of times when you transition into this lifestyle, your friends growing up, they just can't relate. So while, of course, they support you and they want you to be happy, it's really nice having a community of others who completely understand where you're at. You know, with COVID now affecting how we all work, with everybody working remotely, I think it's just bringing the remote work lifestyle to the mainstream, which makes me really happy. And it's a great time to be considering a remote career.
Love that. Your journey is so interesting because it wasn't something that you sought out to do. And I think that's really for most of us, because this is not something that we went to school for. Nobody prepared us for this. So we're all learning as we're going. And it's so amazing, but also it can be really scary at the same time. But what I do want to talk to you about today is how to help us, right? How to help our audience right now, and also to share with us how to actually get started with using miles and points to travel for free. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, absolutely. So people say travel hacking, it can mean different things. To some people, they think, oh, it means like staying at the cheapest place possible and paying a low rate that you found on Expedia versus, let's say, Travelocity. But what I mean is using airline miles to book flights, using hotel points to book points, and then also having points with programs like American Express or Chase, because those points are transferable to airlines and hotels, which you could use to book flights and hotel rooms. So I think learning about travel hacking, you could look at it and be like, wow, it's so overwhelming. There's so much knowledge to kind of like want to absorb. But I would say to get started, just Google what is travel hacking, what are airline miles, what are hotel points, and you'll come across a ton of different blogs with beginner guides when you could see a lot of different information out there, and just read it and it will eventually start to sink in. Just like anything, think of miles and points as another currency, just like crypto or stocks. It's just another form of currency that could help you get to where you want to go.
Love that. And there's so many different options, like you're saying, and also different ways for you to really use those points, right? So can you tell us really what different types of points are they in terms of travel and how you can use them effectively?
Sure. So there's three types of points in a sense, right? If you think about it as three different buckets. So airline miles or points, right? Those are miles that you use to book flights. So instead of paying in cash, you're going to be using miles to book your flights. And the amount of miles that an award ticket is going to cost will either be based on an award chart, which is like from one region to another, or it's based on how far away the regions are, or it'll be based on loosely in some way based on the cost of the ticket. For hotel points work in a similar way. Hotel programs will say, okay, there's hotels and there's different categories. So, the properties that have the least amount of amenities and like the least amount of options, those will probably cost the lowest amount of points. But then like at the higher end, like properties with a lot of amenities and gyms and pools and spas and suites and just a ton of other stuff, those hotels are going to cost more points. So you would use those points to book nights at hotels based on what category that hotel falls into. And then the third bucket are points that you earn with specific credit cards like Chase and American Express. And so those are Chase Ultimate Reward points and American Express points, American Express membership reward points. And those points could either be redeemed for travel through each credit card program's travel portal, or they could be transferred to a list of airline and hotel partners at a preset ratio so that when you want to book a ticket with a plane ticket with miles or hotel nights on points, you would transfer points from that credit card to that specific airline or hotel program and book your awards that way.
Love that. And also I'm going to say this because not many of us are able to travel right now, but eventually everything is going to start to open. I'm just saying this is the right time to actually start building up these points and miles that you have, because once we're all ready to go, everything that you're going to be doing is free because, we're still spending even during the pandemic. So yeah, make sure to save this, listen to this, make sure to keep saving all of your miles and points, because once it opens up, man, this is going to be so good for you. So for you, Elina, how do we actually choose the right credit card, right? Because there's so many of them offering so many different things. How do we know the best ones to choose?
Okay, well, the good news is there is no best credit card. So don't feel like, oh my God, I need to get this card and for whatever reason I can't. The best credit card is the one that's best for you. So the card that's going to be the best for me may be different than somebody who lives in LA or in Texas or in Chicago, because what a lot of it depends on what airport you live near, because you're going to have to look at which airlines fly in and out of the airports that you live near. So first, look at what airports you live next to and what airlines fly the most to that airport, and then where do you want to go? So like if you want to go to a destination, for example, like if you live in New York and you want to go to London, okay, so British Airways, American Airlines, United, right? Those are going to be, and then of course a bunch of others, but those airlines fly there. You would say, okay, well, these are the points that I want to start building. So then you would want to look at credit cards that will earn you points with those, whether that's an American Airlines card or a British Airways card or a United card, or whether that's going to be a Chase credit card, right? Because those points can be transferred as well. So you kind of work a little bit backwards. You say, okay, where do I want to go? What airlines fly there? And also to my airport. Okay, great. Now I'm going to look at a credit card that's going to get me points with that airline.
Love that. Well, these tips are so incredible. And of course, you want to make sure that you're doing your own research and if they want to get more information, because you are the master at miles and points and traveling for free, Elina, what can they do to reach you? Where can they find you so they can find out more information about you and what you do?
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is the Miss Miles, so TheMissMiles. You could also find me on Clubhouse. I talk about this quite a bit. And yeah, that's it. Those are the two easiest ways to get in touch with me, because then you can always find me.
Awesome. And also you have a program that you have, right? In terms of helping others also travel the world using their miles and points. You want to talk a little bit about that as well, because that is so exciting to learn about.
Yes, definitely. So right now I'm launching a beta program in which I teach women how to travel the world on miles and points. And I also have a concierge business where I do bookings for people. So let's say if someone's like, I have 100,000 points with XYZ airline, can you help me book a business class ticket? I want to go to I want to go somewhere. So I do that. Those are like one-off bookings. And yeah, I mean, basically, I enjoy teaching people about this hobby. I enjoy making travel accessible to everyone. This getting into miles and points is a way for you to see the world without feeling like you can't afford it. Because when you're traveling with miles and points, you're not having to spend $1,000 out of pocket on a plane ticket. You're using points to get you there. And not only that, but you could be flying in business class or first class. And, especially like as a digital nomad or even a female solo traveler, right? Like nothing makes you feel better than like walking into a plane and like drinking champagne and just feeling like, okay, I can relax and have a nice, enjoyable vacation. Of course, you don't have to redeem for business class. There's no such thing as a perfect redemption, but, like your best travel experience is what you make of it, is what you want. So think of miles and points as just a way to open the door to more opportunities for you to be able to see the world without breaking the bank.
Perfect. I love all of the services that you have, Elina. So make sure you all check her out, visit her, send her a DM. She has all of the details and information on how to travel the world using miles and points. So thank you so much for that, Elina. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here and sharing with us all of the incredible tips and tricks that you just gave us today.
Thank you so much for having me. And if anybody has any questions, I'm always around. So don't be too shy. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Feel free to reach out with anything.
I hope you enjoyed this extended interview with Elina. Make sure to visit theoffbeatlife.com. Again, that's theoffbeatlife.com to get the full interview where she shares how she went from being a personal finance expert to being a travel hacker, seeing the world for next to nothing. Hey friend, have you been wanting to start a podcast? I know it can be overwhelming in the beginning. Believe me, I have been there. Lucky for you, we have created a new site called howtocreateapodcast.com that shares a ton of freebies that can help you get started. From launching, growing to monetizing, we share it all in one place. Visit howtocreateapodcast.com for more information. Thanks for joining me on this extended interview. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. We can also chat some more on Facebook at The OB Live. I'll talk to you soon.